at Arrowhead Stadium on a Thursday. That is technically a Wednesday. Sorry for the delay. Technology, who knows what's going on with it. But we are happy that we are here live with you now. Like I said, it's Wednesday in Chiefs world because the Chiefs are playing the Rams Monday night in Los Angeles, not Mexico City as was originally planned. All that came down earlier this week. Things kind of progressed pretty quickly once the players started to say through ESPN's Adam Schefter that they were considering not playing in that game Monday night because of the field conditions. Things moved fast, and by Tuesday mid-afternoon, the game was moved from Estadio Azteca to the LA Memorial Coliseum. So let's start there. Let's start a discussion this week there. Sam, what are your thoughts on this game being moved from, it was supposed to be an international game, help the NFL's expansion efforts and international reach? What does this do?
It's a really bad look for the league, and I mean, for a league that controls everything, is paranoid, micromanages everything, to whiff this badly on something as basic as a field that these guys are going to play on, and it would be a huge whiff if it was the Bills and the Browns, right? Like, that doesn't matter, but that it's maybe the two. It's the best two records, right? In football, it's got 3 potential MVP candidates. It's got stars on both sides of the field for both teams. To whiff this badly is pretty unexplainable. And look, like the number one bad guy, I think, if you're gonna pass out blame. And what are we as media people if we're not here for passing out blame, right?
That's actually all we do. We only blame people.
I think number one is the people in Mexico City that overbooked and couldn't get their field right and all that stuff. I know the excuses about the rain and whatever, but get your stuff together. And number two is the NFL for letting it get to that point. But I'll tell you this: if the NFL is going to move a game in a way that costs them money and makes them look bad, that field was atrocious. That is an unplayable surface if I've ever heard of one. If the NFL is like, yes, we will look incompetent and we will do something that costs us money, at least in the short term. I have doubts about the long term. I think they'll make it back. That means that field is crap. On a personal note, I was kind of looking forward to Mexico City.
You're disappointed you're not going to be able to wear a sombrero?
I am, yeah.
Will Marcus Peters still wear a sombrero entering the game Monday night?
I'm trying to remember the context of why he did that.
There was, as I recall...
when he was with the Chiefs, he wore a sombrero out.
Leaving after, to me, it was a completely random game.
Yeah.
It almost had nothing to do with the game. Now, I think we would have picked up on whether it was a Mexican holiday, but I don't think it was
Cinco
that.
de Mayo.
That's the one thing I was going to say is I don't think it was Cinco de Mayo.
I don't know it.
But I don't know. Hey, just a quick semi-serious thought. All right, what happens? How would this have played out? Would players have really not gone? Would players have really not played if they had insisted on staying in Mexico City? What would have happened? What do you think the end game would have been?
Chad Henne and Dean Williams step right up.
Well,
I think they would have played.
I think they would have.
I think it was a bluff.
Right? I think it would have blinked, right?
Yeah, it was a meaningful bluff in the way that, this is how serious we are about it. But they would have played. NFL play, that's what they did.
Well,
except
I
for
don't know.
Reggie Ragland saying they play in a parking lot. We could have played in Azteca Stadium then.
I guess. Although the video of that field, I think, is really concerning. When they were showing the video of replacing the grass in the end zone, the sod that they were putting down was in these short little rolls. And I talked with George Toma, legendary groundskeeper, talked with him and talked with the head of groundskeeping at Iowa State. And they both told me, the thing that helps with the playing surface is that it's in really big rolls. And so you roll it out and it's really heavy and that kind of helps it stay in place. It's just the weight of it. Looking at these little itty bitty rolls, there's more seams, it's more dangerous, it's gonna, rip more. I don't really know how grass and sod works, but it's the opposite of what they said you want to make it kind of hold into place. So, looking at that video, you jump up to catch a touchdown. What if you come down and sprain your ankle, break your ankle because you get caught in between the seams
yeah.
of grass.
Well, that's the deal too. There may be somebody that tears their ACL or pops an Achilles or whatever on Monday night in LA. Like that's obviously possible.
Right.
But if that same injury would have happened in Mexico
Right.
City, what if it's Todd Gurley or Tyreek Hill?
Yeah.
What, you know, like it
How
just,
much would that have
you
set the
can't do
NFL's
it. You
expansion
can't do
efforts
it.
back?
You can't do it. You just
If
can't
that
do it.
happens in Mexico City, like better for them to take it out now, have the black eye now, than go down there and play, have somebody get hurt, and then do you ever come back to Mexico City? 10, 15
Had
years?
that happened,
yeah,
you mean?
yeah.
I think they'd still find a way, as you noted in your column. There are 20 million
I was
people.
gonna say find a way. It's called money.
Yeah.
That's
20
how
million
find
people.
a way.
And if they legitimately think that there is, not just the momentary or immediate payoff of 20 million people, there's obviously the seeds being planted for the future, right?
Yeah.
I think the NFL thinks it'll have a franchise in Mexico City one day.
I do too.
You know what I mean?
They
It may have to get its own dedicated stadium
I'm almost
Isn't-
certain it
yeah.
will have to have its own
field
dedicated
turf.
stadium.
with
Yeah.
no Shakira concerts.
Yeah, we'll have field
Yes.
turf. But I was like, when I was talking to somebody from the league about, after this happened, and you call somebody from the league yesterday afternoon, and the numbers, and I didn't write them down, I've got them on tape, but the number of people, like kids that are playing in a flag football tournament was like something like 90,000 kids or something like that played in a flag football tournament there. There's, he gave me a bunch of other numbers about like how much football is being consumed in Mexico City. They're not going to go away from that place.
Yeah.
They're going to go back there more and more every year. There's going to be a game there next year, I assume.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a market that they are going to exploit. The Premier League, you've heard this number before. The Premier League, 80% of their fans, and I don't know how exactly they measure this, but or count, but 80% of their fans are outside of England. And in the NFL, 20% of they're 80-20 the other way. 80% of the NFL fans are in America. They want to expand that. They want to keep that 80, but grow the 20.
Right.
To where
right.
it's 50-50 or even the other way around. This is all about money. They're going to get their money.
So alluding to fans, I mean, two other things that just stick out to me about this whole thing. Obviously, the ones who really suffer in this are the fans.
100%.
I mean, it's on so many levels in so many ways, and it's so disappointing. And there's only so much we can say about that, I guess. But the essence of the game, really, I think, from a Chiefs standpoint, is unaffected. In fact, couldn't be more minimally affected. I think, right? I mean, they're basically just going west instead of south, and they none of their plans are disrupted. I think Andy was sincere when he was like, "Well, we didn't have to change anything. We hadn't done anything yet."
Yeah.
I mean,
Flight's probably about the same distance.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah,
in the
probably
air,
is.
it's about, that's what all the players say.
and a little less obtrusive, or whatever the word would be, to than going into another country. And
Yeah, you don't have to worry about the altitude or the water.
yeah, but meanwhile, the oddity, I just think the sheer oddity of the Rams practicing in Colorado Springs for their home game. I mean, I don't know that it weighs into the game in any way in
weird.
particular,
Right.
but it's just kind of strange.
I talked with Lindsay Theory, ESPN's LA Rams reporter, and she was telling me that this has been in the works for a long time, which is interesting because we just heard about it, and so it seemed like it kind of took all of us off guard, and everybody like, oh, you're going to Colorado Springs, did you decide this last week? But apparently it had been in the works for a long time. They had already leased out the facilities and everything else, and they had already flown family members of Rams family, employees, players, everybody to Colorado Springs because of the fires, and they relocated trainers. I mean, you name it, everyone had already moved there. And because of the fires too, they were just like, well, we've already made this the plan. These guys are creatures of habit. They've already been planning for this to happen. To move them back would have caused more chaos. And with the fires, people are evacuated from their homes. They can't go about their habits, and safety's an issue too there with the air quality. So it just made more sense for them to stay in Colorado Springs. And now they'll be altitude adjusted for no reason.
Well, and that's the altitude thing. I still, and maybe it's just because I remember reading something back when I lived in Salt Lake City that said that like it takes more than a week, or it takes at least a week to get any sort of benefit, and if you're trying to get the actual to fully adjust to get the sort of physical output you would have gotten at sea level, it takes like almost 2 weeks. And now that was something I read, and I think it was a study that was from like 2002 or something like that. But so all these teams, because again, when I was in Salt Lake City, you'd see whether it's basketball teams or football teams talk about adjusting to altitude. You come in for a couple of days ahead of time, that ain't doing nothing for you. Like somebody had tweeted during the week, like, "Oh, well, why aren't the Chiefs at least going out there a couple of days earlier?" Because that don't do nothing for you. A couple of days doesn't do anything. A full week, I'm not sure how much that does. It takes almost 2 weeks, is what I've heard, or like I remember that was a number that I think somebody told me when I moved out there, and then I've seen studies that say the same thing. So I don't know how much that 1 week really does for the Rams. I think it's just more convenient because of the fires and everything to be there as opposed to being in LA.
Yeah, oddly enough, they probably would not have picked up the whole operation if they weren't doing that in anticipation of Mexico City, but maybe it just in the end it's the right and better thing for them anyway. And as far as the science of it, I mean, that makes sense to me what you're saying, and you've certainly read up on it. I do believe the Chiefs have access to the same research and
They
vice
also
versa,
have
right?
internet, yeah.
And yeah, they're they can get. They've got their own Twitter medical degrees and all that. But no, but seriously, I think each team had the exact same things to weigh, and for whatever reason, I think Andy. It's an Andy call, right? I mean, in the end, Andy prefers the path of least resistance, and as they did with London, it wasn't a they were going to just stay the course and fly to London and go play.
They flew out a day earlier.
Did they fly out a day early?
London, I think they did. I don't think they would have flown out like Saturday or whatever. I mean, that was.
I think
we were doing other things.
Yeah, you're right. I think you're right, but I think they did the latest they could do, and probably was Friday.
I mean, how great does Andy Reid feel when this game gets moved? He's like, "Ha, that's right. I didn't change anything, and look at us now."
I like it, man. It was a dumb controversy before.
It was, and now he's like,
yeah.
Well,
check me out.
Yeah. I think it was back maybe the Patriots game where during the press box we were talking about it, and somebody mentioned like, no, Andy Reid keeps that schedule. No, like what time they get into the city the day before stays the same, no matter whether it's West Coast, East Coast. Like when you arrive in that city, everything timed out backwards from that. Basically, we're gonna arrive this time the day before the game in the city where we're playing, and then you just work everything off of that. And that doesn't matter if it's Mexico. It doesn't matter if now. And I don't know how much that would have changed with the London thing, or because it's a longer flight and all that sort of thing. But that basically, Andy's like, this is the schedule. Get on that and get with that. That's it.
I think it's 4:00 at the hotel, and then everything is like back from there, which I think is a little weird. Isn't it? Like maybe this is just it's all dumb, right? But it's 4:00 at the hotel, no matter if they're playing a noon game in Cleveland or 7:20, 8:20 Central in Foxborough. That's always seemed a little bit weird.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Well, I guess you control whatever constants you think you can. I don't know.
It's it's worked out pretty well this season. So I guess why
give him
fix
that.
it if it's not broken?
Well, I like that he, so obviously he's played in Los Angeles a couple times now with the Chargers games, but I guess LA Coliseum's a little. I'm not sure why the question was asked more today about him going back to LA.
I was really curious about that. I was like, were we not just there earlier this year?
I think the thought is the Coliseum's more pure LA, and Carson's not in LA, right? So I mean that's where the Chargers games
They
been
played
played.
a preseason game at the Coliseum.
No, they did, didn't they? That's right. That's right.
3-4 years ago.
Yeah,
or something.
yeah.
I guess I wouldn't expect Andy Reid to give a warm fuzzy answer anyway.
No, but it's kind of funny. I mean, he lowered his guard and called it the City of Angels. That was about as far as he went on getting
Then he made a
personal with
joke
it.
about himself in the uniform. What did he say?
He probably wouldn't fit.
No.
That uniform thing has been a bit of a sore point for Andy before because if you've ever seen the punt, pass, and kick contest, it's worth your time to Google Andy Reid and punt, pass, and kick. Andy is quite a bit taller, and I think mostly just taller than the competition. I mean, like a foot taller. Is he a little
bigger
heavier?
He's bigger.
Would you look at this picture?
There it is. Okay, but he doesn't look like
There's a child behind him. I don't know
Yeah.
if we can see
Well,
this
this is-
on my screen.
They're
They're different ages.
exactly. There are
Yes.
different age categories. But Andy couldn't help being a tall lad, or stocky lad.
How old was he at this point?
I think he's like 12.
Yeah, like that's,
No, was he
It might be,
really?
well, 1971. How old's Andy now? 40.
I think he's
7 years
60, right?
later. So 47. He's 60.
I think he's
Three?
60.
I think it's 60.
60.
I think it's 60.
So he's 13.
He was 13.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But Andy
I mean-
Andy hasn't liked how that's been painted. Like that he's
Yeah, because
there was probably a lot of parents who
because
were
that was
calling
probably
for
like a
birth certificates.
7-year-old.
dumping the ball on the 7-year-old kid. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
They spelled his name wrong.
they just spell his name wrong in the.
Whole lot
Well,
of
that was a long
parents
time
looking for
ago.
birth
Don't worry, I'm
certificates
gonna
on that
watch
one.
this.
It's a lot of fun, and if you haven't seen it, it is fun.
Oh my gosh.
But Andy did well in that. He was asked today about whether he ought to, try to recreate that scene, and he suggested his Rams outfit wouldn't fit. But look, it is kind of fun to think of. There he is. He's in a Rams uniform. He was a Dodgers fan. He grew up. He could see the lights of Chavez Ravine. Is that how you pronounce it? At the Dodger Stadium, and so. But it just back to our original point here. None of it is at all in his head. Obviously, when he goes to take this team in, I mean, it's like, we're there. We're going to get to our hotel at 4:00,
Yeah.
and
I mean, he
That's
genuinely likes LA. I mean,
Oh,
he has
yeah.
fond feelings.
No doubt.
Of where he grew up. He still has a home there in Southern California
Yeah.
somewhere. Not, I don't think he can see the lights of Chavez Ravine from there. He can see,
you can see
the sharks in the water from in the ocean. Or
just
whatever.
like here, Sam.
That's
You
right.
can see
Yeah.
it.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's just a business trip. That guy, he's funny. He's really he's genuinely like a funny man and brilliant in a lot of ways. But he gets into this mode, man.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if they were playing like literally at his high school. Like it would just be. And I think his house was didn't it back up to the high school or whatever?
It was really close to the high school.
He wouldn't give
I-
a tiny damn about that. It would be a business trip.
I'll probably tweet that thing back out now that 'cause I went to do sort of the Andy Reid roots story when we were, I don't know, we were out in the West Coast for something in 13 or 14, and it was fun. The neighbor that lived across the street from him was still there, delightful woman. He lived on a street that went up a hill, and they used to roll things down to see how much momentum they gained. Andy was a mischievous kid, and for those of you who don't know, Andy's father was a set designer for Disney. His mom was actually a path-breaking radiologist as a woman early on. And so I'm sure I've enticed everyone now, and I'll retweet that column again. But Andy's such an interesting guy. He is, and I think we see the name, rank, serial number thing so often. It's easy to forget that that's just not a facade, but that's his public face.
You know what, dude? I think about that all the time, too, about what you just said about his parents. His dad was basically an artist, and his mom was, very, very science. and
Yes.
he's got both parts of
Yes.
of that brain, and I think that comes out in his coaching in a lot of ways.
100%.
Yeah, he's got both of it.
I think that's your column on the second week of the playoffs or so. I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to keep saying it. We'll need to store up for January things.
Yeah, we are.
Man, jinx it, why don't you?
There are no jinxes. Go ahead. 30,000
Were you going to
feet.
say it?
If jinxes existed, flight attendants will not welcome you to the city when you're still in the air.
Okay.
All right, and on that note, let's look at some of the on-field storylines because there are plenty. Let's start out with Sam's favorite guy, Marcus Peters. He will be playing in this game, and it should be an interesting matchup. I think it's going to be emotionally charged, to say the least. I think Sam's little giggle says it all.
I wish you guys had been here to see Marcus. Whatever state of mind would overcome him at Oakland, and I believe that's what we'll see. Right when he would go home to Oakland, we just had the ISO cam on him the whole time, especially Sam.
I mean, the first time he literally threw up on the sideline.
Oh, God.
Yeah, he might do
So here's my question, though. So I didn't see any of those Oakland games, but does this kind of emotional Marcus Peters, is it a benefit or does it not help him to playing wise?
It'll do exactly both, right?
Yeah.
So breaks right down the middle.
I would bet on him getting an interception, and I would bet on him giving up a touchdown.
I would
And bet on him getting a personal foul.
I would bet on all three, and I bet on. And in this case, I bet on him really getting scorched on a touchdown, biting on something that they know he's going to bite on, and just whiffing.
Yep.
Who do you think they put him on? Do they do something like put him on Tyreek Hill, a guy he's familiar with and has a history with, who's
He's
going
not
to
fast
chirp at
enough for
him?
Tyreek. That's
Do you
one
put him
thing.
on Sammy because he doesn't have a history with Sammy? Like, if you're the Rams, I feel like you'd want him on Sammy because there's not going to be the added extra layer of emotion there.
Yeah, I'll tell you this, and this has nothing to do because he's been
I'll say
terrible
this.
this year. He has been awful this year, so this has nothing to do with that. Even if he was great this year, even if he was as good as had been with the Chiefs, if Tyreek Hill and him were ever on the same side of the field without a safety on the top, that ball is going there, and that's going to happen because Marcus Peters, again, he's been terrible this year, but he's a very talented, productive in the past, all-pro type cornerback, but he's slow for the position. And if they can get that matchup, that's going to be like where the ball's going. I think what they might do, we're getting into the weeds a little bit, but if he's on Hill, back him up, get him at least 5, hopefully 10 yards off the line of scrimmage, and get a safety over the top so he can take away an underneath route or at least play that. Because you don't want him, if he tries to turn his hips and run with Tyreek Hill, there's going to be 12 yards of separation.
Hey, it's Blair Kirchhoff, and if you're listening to this, you love Kansas City sports, whether it's the Chiefs, Royals, Sporting, Mizzou, KU, or K-State. And no one covers these teams like the Kansas City Star. If you currently subscribe to the paper or have a digital subscription, thank you for your support. And if you don't, here's a great offer. It's called Sports Pass, unlimited digital access to every sports story and video on kansascity.com. And it's just $30 for the first year. It's the best sports value in town, just 8 cents a day or $2.50 a month. You can't beat that. Subscribe now at kansascity.com/sportspass.
So now, the question I have is because, and obviously I wasn't here for it, but there was there's the perception that sometimes he freelanced a little bit.
Yeah.
Would he go for that? He's going to play off of Tyreek Hill in this game when he's in that headspace of, I have no idea.
That's a really good question. I don't know.
Well, did you finish?
The other thing I was going to say was just because, the other thing I was going to say is just because we were in here earlier, Sean McVay did his conference call, and when Marcus Peters came up and the way he's played this year, he tried to sort of diffuse that, and he gave the old, part of the reason that he looked so bad in that New Orleans game was that they had him doing this because of the things they had him doing, and how they asked him to do so much, and how that the numbers can make things look a way that's different from reality, I believe was the way that he put it. I'm not sure what reality that is.
The film looks
reality.
The numbers in the film look really bad.
The part of the question that relates to this, from my angle on the whole thing, is what I would contend that the Chiefs have a far greater advantage in understanding Marcus than Marcus has in anything he understands about the Chiefs. I mean, maybe I'm wrong about that, but I think if anybody's going to have an advantage in the knowledge, it's
probably right.
How to deal with Marcus.
That's very true.
I do think that Marcus he's going to have some obviously familiarity with these guys, and he's a really, really smart football player anyway, very instinctual, he'll be well prepared and all those things, but one of the problems with Marcus, as a football player, is when he gets sort of overheated, and you can take advantage of that, for lack of a better term. And this is a point where, even any cornerback going against this offense is, at a disadvantage, right? Patrick Peterson is one of the best in the business, and he got burned a few times last week. So this isn't a comment on that. But if he's also in this kind of headspace of, I'm going to try and, I need to get my pick right now.
Yeah.
That's, and look, he may get it. Like when they went to Oakland, they played the season opener in Oakland this year, and
Oh God, that was beautiful.
The first, I think this is true. The first pick six crotch grab.
I don't know who else would have done one first.
So I mean, he's got.
I don't want to know who else.
I'm not going to be
would have done
surprised
one
at
first.
all if he gets an interception. I will be surprised if he doesn't get a personal foul. I'll be legitimately surprised if he doesn't do something, and I'll be shocked if he doesn't give up one touchdown.
The thing that's interesting to me about the personal foul aspect of this is, I think you're right. I really will be shocked if he doesn't get one, no matter what, no matter what else is going on. But I really do. I'm trying to picture the dynamics. Obviously, he's a great competitor, but picture the dynamics of his relationships with these guys, right?
Yeah.
I mean, let's just, for argument's sake, I think this is fair to say that I think he was friendly with the guys on the other side of the ball. About the only guy that I can think of that he's competed against that he knew before was Marshawn Lynch, who's like running to his side to prevent him from getting in a fight on the field.
Yeah.
I just wonder, will he have a certain fury at Chiefs players?
I don't think the players. It's going to be
Looking up in the stands, he might Earl Thomas. Looking up in the
no. Yeah, I think his
The
beef
sky.
with the Chiefs is more some of the coaches and some of the front office.
I think a defensive coordinator.
Yes, the defensive coordinator,
Maybe the
and
special
some of
teams
the-
coordinator.
Yes, and some of the the guys that decided he's got to go.
Here's my question: what happens if Kareem Hunt is running right at him? Does he tackle him or does he make a business decision?
I actually think in this game that he'll do both. But I think in this game we will see some tackles from him. If you watch him when it matters, he will tackle, and he does like kind of the Seattle. What do they call it? What do they call it? Hawk tackling? You know what I'm trying to say. The Pete Carroll.
Whatever it is when you
came
jump
up
on a
with.
pile when he's already down. Oh.
But like, and you remember the playoff game last year?
Yeah.
You know,
I know what you're gonna say. Yeah.
He was like the one guy playing super hard in
Yeah.
the game on defense, and he was making tackles. On third downs, short of the sticks, he was making tackles. He absolutely makes business decisions a lot.
I was going to say, you mentioned Seattle. Did you see, there wasn't a whole lot of tackling in that game against Seattle last week for that defense.
Sure was not.
No, I did not see the game last
It
week.
was replaying in here this morning, which was perfect.
Well, I looked some of it up on the Game Pass, but because I saw the number 273 rushing yards, I was like, wait a minute? And so I went back and looked at it. And, I mean, for all the big names on that defense, aside from Marcus Peters, like,
It's weird. It's
the
weird.
teams were off to the
It is
races,
weird.
which is
And
Well,
I
it looked
know-
like Aaron Donald wanted to make a tackle after the game.
Yeah, you
I
can't
thought
do that.
we haven't seen any discipline come of that, have we? But
It would come out Saturday, if anything.
it's probably. I mean, maybe a fine, but I mean, it's
not
gonna be-
suspendable,
yeah.
right? But
It is.
But if I were running a league, that'd be the kind of thing I would think. You know what? I would be thinking about a suspension on that.
Yeah.
That's running out to create an altercation after the game
Yeah.
and physically confront somebody. That has no place to me.
Yeah, it is bizarre though. Like, as much as we've talked deservedly so about the Chiefs' offense good, Chiefs' defense bad, the Rams have a lot of really good players, and their defense has been pretty atrocious for a lot of the year. You know, what I mean, they have maybe the best defensive player in football, right? Like, if you were just picking sides, like I think Aaron Donald would go, first overall, right, of just defensive players. I know Talib's been hurt. I still don't completely understand. I mean, I have my theories about Peters and why he's been so terrible, but I don't understand why they haven't protected him more.
Or stop the run. I mean,
Yes.
so like I looked it up this week. Football Outsiders against the run. Now we all know what people have thought of Kansas City's rush defense. 32nd in the league. Rams, 29th.
Yeah, I don't get it.
In DVOA, they're like there's 5. It's like 20th and 25th DVOA Football Outsiders way.
Overall defense?
Yeah. And then for that matter, New Orleans is 27th. Like the teams with the best records. Like so, as much as people want to talk about the defenses, 20th later for all those teams. But yeah.
So we're going to take the over in this game is what I'm hearing.
It's the highest
Oh, yeah.
over in NFL history.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
still
Las
going to
Vegas,
take
yeah.
it. Still give me that over. It's what,
Oh, yeah.
64, I think? Well, looking at, like you were talking a little bit about the Chiefs' defense, how much is Todd Gurley going to torch this defense on Monday? How many yards is Todd Gurley going to end up with? Because I think, 200? More than that?
As a Todd Gurley fantasy owner.
Yeah. Come on, Todd
Good
Gurley.
matchup. I think there's a lot of them, right? Like Saquon Barkley, Kareem Hunt, James White. There's a lot of backs who are good out of the backfield. But as far as like a total package, and Todd Gurley's a freak on his own. He's great, but specifically to the Chiefs, he's their worst nightmare, right? Like he's elusive between the tackle. Like he can kind of run through guys, over guys. He's great out of the backfield. He's probably the worst single matchup that the Chiefs could imagine, I would think. I think that's why they're going to win, actually. Like, I think the Rams are going to win. It's because Todd Gurley is so freaking good.
Can the Chiefs do contour this thing to stop him and then just suffer the consequences
Maybe.
of whatever else is going to beat him?
Yeah,
I
remember-
mean, is that what you do if you're the Chiefs?
I don't know.
You say we're not going to let him beat us?
Maybe, but I don't know how. Like, who's the guy? Like I guess what you might be able to do, right, is like defense is something we're going to spy the quarterback. We're going to keep a spy. Like maybe spy the running back.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a way to do that. Maybe just put Dorian O'Daniel would be the first guy that comes to mind.
But I don't know if that's an answer in the run game.
I think it is. Yeah. It's
Plus,
there's no good
Yeah,
answer.
it's not. And even if you say on third down, but some of the big pass plays, and I had it written down at one point in time, but for as much as everybody's like Dorian O'Daniel gonna get the backside of the backfield now that he's playing on third down. Well, some of the touchdown passes, like the 49ers one, I think the Broncos one of the touchdowns against the Jaguars, those were early down ones. Those were not third down. We're going to go to that.
Yeah.
Those were when you got base personnel. So that doesn't fix that problem. So, I mean, unless you put Dorian out there for 3 downs and you say, okay, you're going to stop the run, and you take in Ragland or Hitchens off of the guys that you have out there for that.
Totally, yeah. And the other thing, I love, Dorian O'Daniel. I think he's a good fit for the Chiefs, and he can do some nice things. But we're not talking about Cam Chancellor. Just keep that in perspective.
Well, and then,
you know what I mean?
This past week, just thinking about the film review thing that I did, Sorensen and O'Daniel, I think, and some of these outside guys got beat on some of these, and it wasn't so much them getting beat, but it was just the little pick passes
pick
like
plays,
that.
yeah.
The pick plays that we saw from Arizona, if you don't think that's in the Rams playbook, then I don't know. I mean, we saw the same thing happen in against Cleveland. Cleveland with Speaks getting picked up. They're going to do that, and if you don't have that ironed out, how you handling that, those are going to be big plays.
Yeah, because now it's a pick play to Todd Gurley.
Exactly.
Robert
And we
Woods
saw
or
it with
whatever.
Duke
Yeah,
Johnson, and we saw it with David
Yeah.
Johnson.
Yeah.
Now
All
Todd
the
Gurley.
Johnsons.
Yes, all the Johnsons had big days. Now Todd Gurley is just waiting.
He is licking his chops. He is so happy.
It's gonna be a big game.
By the way, looking at a couple questions, we have Fedora Man, which,
God bless you.
yeah, man, okay.
Which fedora is that? Do we know?
Larry, if that's you, you should probably scheming up how
Was it
you're
the
going to
hat
beat
or was it
Western
Larry?
Carolina. Because I'd really like to finish the season not with just one win. Anyway, Fedora Man wants to know, is this a day where the replacements on the interior line become more noticeable against Donald and Suh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
that's the fear.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, it became kind of noticeable last week, right? I mean, although I do still think we have to look back. You guys have studied it, I think, but a couple of those are on Patrick. A couple of those sacks last week, but it wasn't just that he got sacked. It was he got a little harassed.
Got drilled.
And I mean, and obviously it all starts there. So
Yeah.
I think, as I think Sam, you were pointing this out in our Sunday night Facebook Live. The thing that's interesting is the Chiefs have been strongest and the most stable at the tackles, offensively, and Donald's really more up the middle,
Yep.
which is where the Chiefs are going to be more challenged because they're down a couple guys.
Yeah. At least on paper, it's strength against weakness.
Yeah.
Right there. Yep.
Well, and then does Andy, which I mean, I think people always assume that he gets away from the run, and that even when it's going well, he's quick to get away from it. But when you're giving up the type of yards they're giving up on the ground,
Yeah.
is that the answer to sort of to limit some of those hits on Patrick? Is we're going to run it right at you, and you guys have shown that you'll give up yards.
Well, that's right. And look, another aspect of this, maybe this is the first time this season we've encountered this. I mean, obviously you always want to hold the ball longer than the other team, right, if you can. But is this a game where the Chiefs care more about clock than they might normally have? I mean, that it'd be useful for them to, I mean, obviously they'll take the quick 96-yard TD, but isn't it a game where the Chiefs want to have 5-minute drives?
It might be. I mean, it's the best offense by far, right? I mean, the Patriots, but this is a better I think the Rams have a better offense than the Patriots. This is the best offense by a significant margin, say it that way, that they've faced. It's the first time. I still think the Chiefs' offense on its own is better than the Rams, but whatever. I'm not going to argue that point with a lot of passion. But it's the first time that that other side, they run it up and down. And look, the Patriots were doing it too, but the Patriots don't have this kind of star power. They got the quarterback, but they don't have You know, and Cooper Kupp just got
I
hurt.
was
but-
gonna say
Yeah,
they're gonna take a
that's
hit
pretty
without
huge.
Cup.
Yeah, but they still have the best, probably the best running back in football, I would think. You know, Robert Woods is a stud. Brandon Cooks is ridiculous. You know, I mean, they got some guys. They still got some guys that can play. It's just one thing I'll say is that it is obvious as Ndamukong Suh and Aaron Donald against the interior of that line, and as obvious as Todd Gurley against a team that hasn't been able to stop the run or passes to the running back. As obvious as those two mismatches appear, a lot of times in football, when you see obvious mismatches like that, they don't show up as much because they're schemed against. So now it becomes
Right.
So that's the adjustment already before kickoff. So now
Right.
it becomes like who adjusts to that adjustment.
Right.
Adjusting to the adjustment. Yeah.
Oh, well said.
I like it. Brian LeBerg says, we hear a lot about Marcus Peters facing the Chiefs, but not a lot about Sammy Watkins facing LA. How big of a game is this for Sammy?
I don't know. I haven't talked to them. I mean,
You got in with
I guess
it.
I should.
Yeah.
I feel
You
like
were in
I
the
just
room,
asked
right?
this question for myself.
Do it.
I talked to Sammy today. They brought him to the podium, and the thing that jumps out to me the most about what Sammy said is that his time with the Rams kind of prepared him for the Chiefs, because in Buffalo he was the guy and he wanted to be the guy, and he was kind of a diva about it, about saying he wanted so many targets and you will target me this many times and I will be the focal point of this offense. With the Rams, though, he was one part of this offense that has now evolved to where it is today, that's even more explosive than it was last season. But that's where he kind of learned to be a role player and to be a piece in a bigger scheme. And he said that prepared him to come to the Chiefs now, where, you know, he's the third, fourth target, but still really good, and it makes the whole offense better. I didn't get the sense that there's any animosity or he's really ramped up to go back to the Rams, because it was his choice to leave.
Right.
You know, that's the difference between him and Peters.
And McVay, talked about that too, and he said, as far as how Sammy fit, because remember he came from Buffalo to there. The Chiefs
training
are sort of
camp, right?
and the Chiefs are sort of the one stop after that, but that the Los Angeles was the stop in between, and so he said he felt like he said they should have got. He said he blamed himself for not getting Sammy more touches because he felt like they could have done that with that offense. They probably should have gotten involved more. But he said he never had any sort of a problem with the role that he had. He never heard anything from him about it, no complaints, that he sort of accepted that. And then also he said he was actually really happy for him because he got the contract that he got here. Like that, he was sad to see him go, but like he deserved that. He deserved that contract.
Yeah. Here's the funny thing, talking about he wished that he got him more touches. At this point in the season, Sammy has 39 catches with the Chiefs. He had 39 total last year with the Rams, which I thought was really interesting that it's the exact same number.
And I
He
think
only
he
had
has more
16.
yards, right? I think he has more. Does he have more yards? I think
No, he doesn't
it's
have
close,
more.
right?
It's close. He had a few more in LA.
But you were starting to ask him, did he play 16 games in LA last year?
I think did he miss 2? I want to say.
But he played most of the season,
Yeah.
right? But yeah.
So he's missed like a game and a half.
Yeah,
I think
it's interesting
it
because
is.
I've thought a lot of this season, maybe the first 5-6 games anyway, he was, underproducing or one way or another wasn't gelling.
This is a weird thing to say, but I'll say it
And missed the
anyway.
last game.
He has been better than his numbers this year and last year.
I'd agree with that.
There were a lot of times last year, if you look and, when they signed the contract, what do you do to, that's a big contract, right? It looked like he was open a lot last year and either didn't get the ball or Jared Goff, who's a good quarterback, happened to underthrow him or, just misfire there. This year, it seems like kind of a similar deal. There's been times where he's had some nice catches, some nice plays, and they get called back on a penalty. He's had some good runs, downfield, and it gets called back on, a hold or whatever. So he's been, whatever his numbers are, and last I checked, he was on pace, not anymore after he missed the last game. But I checked once, and he was on pace for around 1,000 yards.
Yeah, he has 515 yards, 39 catches. Last year he had 593, 39 catches, and played in 15 games.
And he's easily on pace to career high receptions. His career high is 65. His career high yards is 1,047. That's all entirely attainable. Maybe
Which is crazy. And if he wasn't on a team that had so many other weapons, that's the thing. The fact that he's could get those career highs being in an offense where he isn't necessarily the primary target every time. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I do think he matters beyond his numbers too, in a way of you can play the Chiefs differently when he's not on the field.
Yeah, you have to account for his skills.
I really do believe that.
Yeah. I think we touched on it a little bit after the game, right? Because we were talking about how the offense sort of had a day, even though they scored 26, right?
Yeah.
And we were saying maybe we'll look back at it and realize that this is where the Sammy thing plays out, because he didn't have him in that game, and it changes. Like people will say, he hasn't put up that great of numbers this year, but it's like his presence probably changes the offense. And
I believe that 100%. Yep.
Andrew Ross asks, do you think we need some trickery from Andy this week, since the Chiefs need to score so much to beat this team, similar to the fake punt in Atlanta in 16? Do we maybe see a fake punt, fake field goal, flea flicker, etc.?
I feel like
A lot of trickery.
it really depends on your definition of
I
trickery,
want trickery.
right?
Yeah.
Fingers crossed for
I mean,
trickery.
you can make a case that it's almost redundant with some of the things they actually do.
Their
scheme
entire
up on
offense is a trick.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, right? I mean, I obviously it's a different thing to fake a field goal or fake a punt. I think we've seen one of those in 6 years from Andy.
Yeah.
Maybe two, right? I mean,
And I almost like the fake punt thing in a game like this and with a team like this. If you're the Rams and the Chiefs bring on the punt team, I'm playing like nickel. Like I don't believe in you. You're gonna have to actually until the ball touches Dustin Colquitt's left foot.
Well, right.
I'm not gonna believe
Right.
that that's actually a punt, especially if it's like a 4th and 3 or whatever. Midfield. Like I just would not believe that.
well, this is a related point. I mean, are we going to see them? And we've seen Andy do this sort of thing. But are we going to see them go for it on 4th and short from their own 30 in the second quarter?
When was that he did that?
It was early this season, wasn't it?
Was it Pittsburgh? Remember, it was a 4th down,
Might
like
have
on their
been.
own 30 or something like that. Yeah,
Was it Pittsburgh?
it's either Pittsburgh or LA. I think.
I think it was
Chargers.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I think it was Pittsburgh. It must have been.
Yeah.
Because it was one of those things, you're doing it while you still have the lead,
Right.
as opposed to desperate, to come back.
I would, if I was either one of these teams, I'd go for 4th downs, unless if you're 4th and 15. Or
I mean,
whatever,
yeah.
But
But the risk of that too is if you turn it over, the offense you turn it over to is
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, they're probably going to score anyway.
yeah, if you think they're going to score anyway, then it doesn't.
Well, yeah.
But
Sorry.
screw it. Like to be honest with you, I'd be going
Go
for
for
everything.
it.
Like pretty much.
Well, and here's something interesting
I'm
is
the wrong person to listen
Brian
to.
brings up almost the opposite point. He says this is a game where both teams hold back some of their playbook in anticipation that they may meet again in February. New England and Belichick did that a couple years back when he faced a top-rated NFC team.
That was he might be referring to the Packers game. It was about this time of year. It was like late November, early December or something, and there were a lot of people that thought that. Worth noting, they didn't play again. The Patriots and Packers. There's a lot of stuff that can happen, and I don't know. It's a good question. I get like where he's coming from, and the answer might be yes, but I don't think that's how this group approaches things. I think they're going to try to win the game.
And look, I mean, here's the side part of that. Two side parts to that to me are, absolutely the Chargers game is going to be the more meaningful game for the Chiefs probably. But the Chiefs need to win
In
this
some
game.
ways, yeah.
This is an important game for them. It's not just a show who's best right now thing. I mean, if they win this, they have a better chance to meet them again later or somebody again later. So what is it you're holding something back for? And the other part of that too is, have we not seen that that it really doesn't matter what they use now? They're still going to create more things.
Yeah.
Like I don't think they've got to, here's the nuclear codes we're keeping over here. We're not going to use them.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Andy is ever inventing.
Wow.
Right? I
There's
think
stuff he hasn't thought of that he'll think of in early January.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I'm good with thinking of new things.
Yeah.
like this,
The ROI on that.
I think the question's good, but
But the idea that they're just going to say, well, no, we could really hit them big with this, but
Yeah.
we're not going to because of something down the line. I'm not buying that at all. I think if you got something that's going to work, you're going to hit them with it this week, and then you worry about down the line.
And to that point, I think a little different, but sort of the same point as the question is, obviously every probe you launch in this thing is something you're going to learn from if you have another meeting. Like, how did this play out?
That's a good point. Yeah.
That I remember what happened when we did this, and we think they'll react this way. So all that's maybe the way it shows up in another game. I think.
Can you imagine holding back a play that you know is going to, like, you're 90% sure is going to get a touchdown
I don't
because
think
you want to
that's-
use it in the Super Bowl and then you
Yeah.
don't get to the Super Bowl?
I don't think
Like,
that's how
that would
Andy
be-
Reid works.
That would be a bummer.
How he rolls.
How he rolls.
Yeah.
No, but I think I understand where the question is coming from. There
Yeah.
might be some like
It's a smart question,
30,000 foot way that maybe they
Right.
approach it differently, but in that way you would approach a Super Bowl differently than you would any regular season game.
Right.
Right. Like I think that's always going to be the case.
Well, like, and for instance, look what the Eagles cranked out in the Super Bowl
Right. Yeah,
last
yeah,
year.
yeah.
You know,
Uh-huh.
or actually, it was the NFC title game that I'm really thinking of. What? No, it was Super Bowl.
Philly special.
Yeah, Philly special.
Special.
Yeah, and you know, I doubt they were just thinking it could have helped them win a game they needed to win earlier and not used
Yeah.
it.
Right.
Right. But then again, maybe they didn't want to show it.
So, like the one part about that play too, like we're getting off topic, so I apologize.
That's kind of what
But,
we
like,
do.
It's kind of a gangster way to do it that I feel like people overlook is that was after the Patriots tried a pass back to Brady. Right?
Yes.
It
Yeah,
didn't
and
work.
No,
They're
no.
like,
So
this is how you do it. I really like. I enjoy that part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That it's funny that we're talking about that this week to even go further off track. Did you notice that happened last week with the Patriots
pass to Brady.
and Titans, right, at Tennessee?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Where
we fell
they
down.
threw
Yeah.
to Brady and he like stumbling, bumbling, like falls over his own feet short. And so then Tennessee does it to Mariota, who gets the first down.
I didn't realize that.
Oh yeah, they did it to Mariota. He gets the first down, and they ask Vrabel afterwards, who played for Belichick, who caught touchdown passes from Brady, and he sits there in a press conference and says, "Well, we just wanted to see if it looked any better than theirs." and when
So
asked,
beautiful.
and when asked about, of course the follow up question is, well, so did Marcus catch it better than Brady? He sure got up faster than Brady. a double shot. So yes,
Glad to see him. With it.
that is gangster right there.
As Andrew notes, if the Chiefs run the Philly special, Tyreek and Kelsey are not allowed to throw the ball.
You know,
That's
we have not
very
seen
fair.
Tyreek throw yet, have we?
Kelsey hasn't thrown this.
Not
When?
this
In
season.
camp.
Remember
we saw
last
it in
season?
camp.
Do you want to remember last season?
I don't remember it.
Where it was like, are you left-handed? Do you remember that?
Yeah, now I remember
It
it.
was right by the goal line. I forgot who they were playing.
But
It
something
was
went
late-
wrong
late
with
in
the.
year.
I mean, it wasn't just that. I think
was
he's
a
got
really
a.
bad throw.
I think he's got a good arm. I could be wrong.
He didn't show it.
I need to look at this play again. I
He didn't
can't
show
quite
it.
remember.
He didn't show it.
I'm confusing it with Mahomes throwing left-handed. By the way, it's the first time on this entire thing that we've said the word Mahomes.
Is that right? How about
No. Yeah. No. Oh well, actually, so I have a Mahomes item written
Hit the
down here
over.
second.
that?
By the
Sure.
way, that we haven't discussed, and I think it's about time. We need to talk about ketchup for all 41 people who are watching.
let's get
I
the
know that you're
ketchup-
really interested.
Thing solved, and then I'm sorry, but I got to get out of here.
All right, so we're gonna do ketchup score predictions. You ate your lunch. Like, what do you have to do?
Well, it's not really because of that, but because I see the clock ticking.
'Cause you have
and
work to
stuff
do.
has to get written.
Yeah, it's true. So let's just, you know what, we're going to do a lightning round.
And our producer, John Sleazer, has had to go with the handheld
That's also true. He's
thing.
killing it. He's the real MVP here. All right, so we're going to do a lightning round. Do you put ketchup on your steak, yes or no?
No.
Oh, no. Yeah, of course not.
No.
Okay, it's a hell no
course
for me. Somebody asked earlier, and I want to use this. Would it have been better if Mahomes had said he put KC Masterpiece barbecue sauce on his mac and cheese instead of ketchup? Yes or no?
I think so, right? I mean, maybe it's just degrees of offensive.
Do you
But
know how lightning rounds work?
Wow.
I guess I don't. I mean, I don't.
I have to hurry up.
I did this for you.
That was strong.
Okay, we'll go on to the next. Go, Sam.
I think the answer is yes, but it would have felt a little patronizing. And not Casey Masterpiece, by the way, but like Gates or Joe's or something like that.
No barbecue sauce on mac and cheese.
Wait, so therefore, are you cool with ketchup on mac and cheese? Yes or no?
No, it makes no sense. I mean, it's not offensive so much as just no
Ew.
good.
Yeah,
Right?
I mean, eat what you want, eat what tastes good to you, but it's weird.
It's weird.
No bueno.
Listen, we grew up with ketchup on our bologna sandwiches. And I remember like helping out, coaching a football team one summer, making like 30 bologna sandwiches with ketchup on them, and none of the kids ate them.
Goodness.
I'm like, doesn't everybody do this? No. No, nobody does it.
This is not.
So-
There were just 30 untouched.
Just
bologna.
left them. Yeah. I think they went for the fluffernutters instead.
Sounds
You know those,
like-
right? Marshmallow fluff and peanut butter? That
no,
seems like that
that's
should
what
be a
you're
staple for you. You've never had a fluffernutter?
No.
Oh.
I have.
I haven't.
Oh.
I can't.
You, Mr. Sweet Tooth. Actually, I think you
Is
was
it
a
kind
sweet
of like
tooth.
a nutty
but-
bar? Is that what it's called? A nutty bar? Do you remember those?
And
wafers and
Nutty Buddy.
yeah.
Oh, those are
No,
good too, but
Fluffernutter
it's
is
No,
different.
it's different.
Fluffernutter
Those are
really
good
is
too, but it's
the
different.
marshmallow in a jar, peanut butter.
So the
On a
PB
sandwich.
and J without the J,
Yeah,
add
with the
marshmallow.
Fluffernutter instead, yeah.
Huh. No, never.
Sounds
The-
like you
the
need
fluff,
to
you
go
never had the
home and.
fluff?
You're good.
I'm a purist when it comes to PB&J though. I'll just get that out there.
I do. God, I love PB and J.
Yeah.
Crunchy and strawberry, store brand bread.
Smooth and strawberry, homemade strawberry jam, soft.
Oh, homemade.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah.
Oh, ooh.
I don't make it. My mom makes it. If you think I make anything other than mac and cheese in my kitchen, you're very wrong.
Kraft?
No, the Annie's mac and cheese
Okay.
brand with no ketchup.
Annie's.
Hell no to the ketchup. I do dip my pizza in ranch though, so
And should we say for some of the 35 people still hanging on that the reason we're talking about this is that Patrick Mahomes has in fact confessed to or been nabbed going with ketchup on his steak, right?
yeah. What his mom had to order
Yeah,
the
she-
ketchup for him when they went to a restaurant. He got steak and he wanted to dip his steak in ketchup, but he was too embarrassed to order it for himself. That was in Seth Wickersham's
Okay.
story.
Okay.
And then today, we asked him about it, and he copped to putting the ketchup in his mac and cheese, which I have a lot of thought abouts, and they're all gross. But you know what? Let's do one more lightning round thing. Fedora Man notes this is a weird lightning round, and it was lightning with a lot of like rolling thunder. How about a score prediction?
That's well said, Fedora man.
I like it. I like it.
Look,
Let's-
I'm at the point with the Chiefs where I believe they're going to lose, but I'm going to say a score that indicates I think they'll win. I mean, I just feel like, how can I say they're not going to win? I feel like they just are going to find a way, even though I think they're going to lose. So I'm going to say Chiefs 38-34.
In other words, folks, he's telling you ahead of time. He's lying to you.
I'm really not. I'm going against, here's what I'm doing. I'm going against my better instinct. I think they're going to lose, but I can't,
No, I understand.
I can't quit them.
That's how I feel. Sam,
41-38 Rams. Does that cover the over under?
I believe it does.
Okay.
I believe it does by a bit.
43-40.
Chiefs.
And I wrote it down.
Exactly.
42-38 Chiefs. And I kind of feel like Vahe. Like I think that they're gonna lose, but they haven't given a reason to say that they're gonna lose. You
What's
know,
the betting line?
3.5.
I don't know, but I love
Really?
I think.
Didn't they take it?
Did they change it since the
Do I
site change?
know?
Yeah, I was
I-
gonna say, did they take it off? I thought I heard it, and I'm not sure about this, but I thought I heard that they were maybe taking it off because of the whole site thing.
I don't really know how betting lines work, but I saw somebody tweet that.
You know what's really strikes me funny is, so I'm the low person on this, 72 total points. And we're like not even thinking about, like, we're all supposing this game's in the, 80s.
Yeah.
And it's gonna end
like,
up being like the Broncos game Monday night. That was
17 to
Yeah,
10.
the number's like 64, isn't it?
Yeah.
The over under number.
Yeah. You know what's gonna be
That's like-
interesting?
34-30. Like.
Yeah. Take the over by a lot. But I do think that the Rams are going to be juiced up because it's going to be an emotional thing. Like there hasn't been Monday Night Football in LA since the 80s. They are giving free tickets to first responders who are dealing with the fires. They have people who have also been working with the mass shooting that happened in Thousand Oaks near their practice facility. So I think the emotional factor is
Yeah.
going to be
I think
huge.
it will.
So that's my last thought from here. We're going to sign off because we've gone on pretty long. John's been over here holding up my phone.
John's a man.
Thank you guys for bearing with us through all of this stuff. You're amazing for watching, and we will be back with you from LA on Monday night, not Sunday night. I'm going to throw my pin at you so you remember that it's Monday night, not Sunday night. So until then, you can follow all of our work on Twitter, online at kansascity.com, in your podcast feed, and in your newspaper every morning. Until next time, see ya.